Everybody's wanted to be a superhero at some point, and thanks to the new Batman game coming to Quest 3 later this year, I thought I would share the best games on Quest that'll turn you into a superhero. Let's get started. First up, let's start with the Mac Daddy of superhero games on the Quest platform right now, and that is Marvel's Iron Man VR. This game launched originally on PlayStation VR, but now it's available on Quest 2 Pro and Quest 3, and I have to say, if you have not played this game, you desperately need to, because it is fantastic. If you're a fan of superhero games, Iron Man, story-based action-adventure games, I think you'll greatly enjoy Marvel's Iron Man VR, and they did a stellar job at taking a comic book world and bringing it into virtual reality and making you feel like you're becoming that character. Both from a power standpoint, feeling like you're as powerful as Iron Man, to the vulnerabilities and life of the actual character of Tony Stark as well. It's a really well-told story. There's some set pieces and moments that'll have your jaw dropping, and it's just overall a fantastic ride. I highly, highly recommend Marvel's Iron Man VR if you haven't played it, and if you love superhero movies or comics or games, or really, even if you don't, if you think you might like it, just play it, because it's really that good. And it actually looks really good on Quest 3 and Quest 2 as well for being a standalone game. Just play it, trust me. Next up is a game that launched semi-recently on the Quest, and this is a little bit of a different beast. And this game is called Project Demigod. Project Demigod is a little bit different, and a lot of the games on this list are superhero-style games, but may not be official superhero games, or most of them, because we don't have a lot. But Project Demigod launched just a little while ago, a couple months ago, and it allows you to use powers from lots of different superheroes. It calls itself a superhero simulator, allowing you to play physics-based sandboxes and fight against enemies, whether you want to use swinging powers like Spider-Man, or super strength like Superman, or ice powers, or fire powers, or lightning powers, or lots of different things. You can fight against lots of different types of enemies. Like I said, it's physics-based with destruction and car destruction, and it's really fun. There's currently 10 different ability sets, and they are going to continue to add more with things like fire, energy, strength, air, water, stretching, speed, and lightning. They've got a roadmap of new stuff coming. They just recently added the Giant Enemies update a couple of weeks ago that brings giant enemies to the game as well. If you're looking for like a fighting physics simulator for superheroes and you want to be able to just be a superhero without like a storyline, this game will scratch that itch for you. It is a lot of fun. It is a very specific game in the sense that it is a simulator, so it's not like it's going to have a story, and it's mostly just going to be playing around, which actually is a lot of fun to do, just combining different powers and fighting against enemies. Next on the list is a game called Superfly. Superfly is currently on App Lab. I'll put a link down to all of these in the description down below. They call it an epic open world game where you can be a hero or a villain in this case, with different types of superpowers. This is another sandbox game that has 12 different superpowers that you can use, everything from web swinging to super speed, size shifting, teleportation, kinesis. There's boss battles with some crazy bosses like a fire-breathing dragon and a giant worm, which is pretty crazy. It does have a pretty big open world as well, with like a whole cityscape, lots of vehicles, tons of things you can do in the world, lots of enemies you can fight. Like I mentioned before, this is a sandbox game like the previous game, so if you're looking for a story, you're not really going to find it for the most part. There is a story mode in the sense that you start off with less abilities and you unlock these abilities through fighting against bad guys and doing quote-unquote missions. It's not really a story as much as it is mission-based and unlocking different abilities. It's still really cool, but it's not like an in-depth story. So yeah, Superfly, another great one. This next one is actually my personal favorite for this style game. It is called Battle Glide. Battle Glide is another kind of sandboxy game, except for it's more based on open world and just kind of going around the city and having fun. It doesn't have like multiple superhero powers in the sense of like switching between abilities, but it does make you feel like Spider-Man, and it gives you guns. Plus, in my opinion, one of the best parts of this game is the freedom of movement. You can actually turn on things like flipping and, diving and wall running, and there's just a lot of really cool things you can do. I've had a lot of fun just playing around in this. This feels the most like a fleshed out game out of all of the sandbox ones on this list. It even has things like stealth missions, destructible vehicles. It's just a lot of improvements in this game. It's more violent than the other ones because there's guns and stabbing. You can disarm your enemies. You feel the most like Spider-Man in this game out of all of these games, 100%. You feel most like Spider-Man because you can flip, stealth takedown, and there's some really cool stuff in this game with a lot of different enemies. So if you're looking for this type of game, definitely recommend jumping in and trying it. This next one is an interesting beast, and it's actually something that I just discovered. WebGuy, it started off as WebGuy, now it's WebGuy Untangled, or as it's called on AppLab, Untangled. It's actually a multiplayer game. It allows you to actually jump in with some friends. This one is free, so if you want to play something that it'll make you kind of feel like Spider-Man, then you can check this one out. The physics are actually pretty good in this game, and you can swing around this city in the game. Visuals are nothing spectacular, but you can choose from different suits, and you can kind of hang out with friends and swing around and just explore the world and find hidden secrets. It's actually pretty cool. It doesn't look fantastic, but it's a free option, and it's fun. So if you're looking for something free and fun, Untangled, as they call it, or WebGuy Untangled, the link to that down in the description if you want to check it out. This next one is a VR chat world, but it's another free one, and it's really cool if you love superheroes. It's called the Spider Lair in VR chat. You can get different costumes. You can actually drive the spider vehicles. This, again, is multiplayer if you want it to be, or you can create your own room if you just want to explore. You can swing around. There's lots of Easter eggs and things to find. Spider Lair is continuously updated, or it's been updated a lot since I started going into it a long time ago. It's a totally different world than it used to be. Bigger, more to do in it. And it's a really cool role-playing world if you want to do some role-playing in VR. But even beyond that, it's just cool to see all the cool stuff in it for Spider-Man because it is a fan world. So there's a lot of comic covers, costumes that are really cool looking for Spider-Man. You can be different versions of Spider-Man, and you can set it as your avatar. Really cool. If you haven't checked it out and you like superheroes or Spider-Man, I recommend jumping in just for the nostalgia and the cool factor. Highly recommend that. Last on the list is Swarm. There's actually 2 games in this series, Swarm 1 and Swarm 2, and it's billed as being Spider-Man with guns. You swing around and fight against the flying robots and enemies with guns, and it actually feels really good. I haven't personally played Swarm 2, but I've heard really good things about it, and that they took everything from Swarm 1, which I really enjoyed, and made it even better for Swarm 2. If that's the case, then I definitely think you should check it out. The second one is a roguelike with alternating levels. Like, it changes the levels that you're going to go through. It rotates, I believe. The first one had like different levels you play, whereas the second one is a roguelike. So a little bit different, but they're both using the same mechanics. They're both a lot of fun. And if you've got the superhero itch and you want a game that's fast-paced, that is really smooth, and it'll have you shooting while swinging, Swarm 1 or probably Swarm 2 as well is fun to play. There you go. There is the best superhero-style games on the Quest 3. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. What's your favorite game? Maybe there's one that should be on this list. Let me know down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, happy questing.